So this is the continuation of pancreatic hormones and anti-diabetic drugs. So medication for treatment of type 2 diabetes. So several categories of glucose lowering agents are available for patients with type 2 diabetes. So number one is agent that bind to the sulfonylurea receptor and stimulate insulin secretion. The sulfonylureas, meglitinides, and dipenlalamine derivatives. So number two is agent that lowers glucose levels by their action of liver, muscle, and adipose tissue. So yung medicine is biguanides and thiazolidinide. So number three is agent that principally slow the intestinal absorption of glucose, a alpha glucosidase inhibitor. So number four, agent that mimic incretin effects or prolong incretin action are GLP-1 receptors agonist, the peptidase 4 2 or DPP4 inhibitors. So number five is agent that inhibits the reabsorption of glucose in the kidney. Sodium glucose cotransporter inhibitors or SGLTs. So number six is agent that acts by other or ill-defined mechanism or pramlintide and bromocriptine cholecalciferol. So next is drugs that primarily stimulate insulin release by binding to the sulfonylurea receptor. So sulfonylurea's mechanism of action, the major action of sulfonylureas is to increase release from the pancreatitis. So you can see in table 41-7, these are the regulation of insulin release in humans. So mo na ang yang stimulants of insulin release, humoral, and neural B, adrenergic stimulation, vaginal stimulation, and others. So they bind to a 140 kDa high affinity sulfonylurea receptors that is associated with a beta cell inward rectifier ATP sensitive potassium channel. So we can see in this figure 41-2, so the upper portion of the M3 receptor with a lead formed by tyrosine. So residues separating the cavity into an upper portion called the vestibule from the lower portion with the orthosteric binding side depicted as occupied by tiotropium. The receptor is in black, tiotropium in yellow, and the receptor is in green. So efficacy and safety of the sulfonylureas. So are metabolized by the liver, and with the exception of acetohexamine, the metabolites are either weakly acid or inactive. The metabolites are excreted by the kidney, and in the case of the second generation sulfonylureas, partially excreted in the bile. Idiosyncratic reaction are rare with skin rashes or hematologic toxicity or leukopenia, thrombocytopenia occurring in less than 0.1% of cases. The second generation sulfonylureas have greater affinity for the receptor compared with the first generation agent. So these are the first generation sulfonylureas. So first is tolbutamide is a very absorbed but rapid metabolized in the liver. So, yung duration effect is relatively short sa 6 to 10 hours with elimination half-life of 4 to 5 hours, and it is best administered in divided dose. So example is 500 milligram before each meal. So some patients only need 1 or 2 tablets daily. Yung maximum dose is 3,000 milligram daily. So chlorpropamide has a half-life of 32 hours and slowly metabolized in the liver to product that retain some biologic activity. Yung approximately is 20 to 30% is excreted unchanged in the urine. So the average maintenance dose is 250 milligram daily. So given as a single dose in the morning. So tolazapamide is comparable in chlorpropamide in potence but has a shorter duration of action. So is a more slightly absorbed than the other sulfonylureas. So effects on the blood glucose does not appear for several hours. A young half-life is about 7 hours. So it is a metabolized to several compounds that retain hypoglycemic effects. If more than 500 milligrams per day are required, the dose should be divided and given twice daily. So acetohesamide is no longer available in the United States. So yung half-life is only 1 hour but is more active metabolite. Hydro hydroxy hydroxyhexamide has a half-life of 4 to 6 hours. Thus, the drug duration of action is 8 to 24 hours. So, where available, it yung dosage is 0.25 to 1.5 grams per day as single dose or into divided doses. So, ang chlorpropamide, tolazomide, and acetohesamide are now rare use in clinical practice. Second generation sulfonylureas. So these are the second generation of glyburide is metabolized in liver into products with very low hypoglycemic activity. So kana sila tulo glyburide, glipizide, glycosides, and glimepiride are 100 to 20 times more potent than tubulamide. So, glyburide has a few adverse effects other than its potential for causing hypoglycemia. So, it's a contraindicated in the presence of hepatic impairment and in patients with renal insufficiency. So, glipizide has the shortest half-life, 2 to 4 hours of the more potent agent. So, yung maximum effect is reducing postprandial hyperglycemia. This agent should be ingested 30 minutes before breakfast because absorption is delayed what the drug is taken with food. So, the recommended starting dosage is 5 milligrams per day with up to 15 milligrams were given as a single dose. So when higher daily dosage are required, they should be divided and given before meals. So glipizide therapy is therefore contraindicated in patients with significant hepatic impairment because of its lower potency and shorter duration for action. It is preferable to glyburide in the elderly and for those patients with renal impairment. So, glimepiride is approved for once daily use as monotherapy or in combination with insulin. So, active blood glucose lowering with the lowest dosage of any sulfonylurea compound. So, yung single dose is 1 mg have been shown to effective. So, and the recommended maximal daily dose is 8 mg. So, yung half-life under multi-dose condition is 5 to 9 hours. So it is completely metabolized by the liver to metabolites with weak or activity. So glycosides. So not available in the United States. So yeah, has a half-life of 10 hours. So the recommended starting dosage is 40 to 80 milligrams daily, with a maximum dosage of 320 mg daily. So, yung higher dosage are usually divided and given twice a day. It is completely metabolized by the liver to inactive metabolites. So, meglitinide analog. So, ripaglitinide is the first member of the meglitinide group of insulin secretagogues. This drug modulates beta cells insulin release by regulating potassium influx throughout the potassium channel previously discussed. So, has a fast onset of action with a peak concentration and peak effect within approximately 1 hour after ingestion, but the duration of action is 4 to 7 hours. So, the drug should be taken just before each meal in the doses of 0.25 to 4 mg, so maximum of 16 milligrams per day. So hypoglycemia is a risk if the meal is delayed or skipped or contain inadequate carbohydrate. So it can be used in patients with renal impairment and in the elderly. So is approved as the monotherapy or in combination with biguanides. So there is no sulfur in its structure. So ripaglinide may be used in type 2 diabetes with sulfur or sulfonylurea allergy. So metiglinide is also not available in the United States. States is a benzylsuccinic acid derivatives that binds to the sulfonylurea receptors and is similar to ripaglinide in its clinical effects. It has been approved for use in Japan. Next is the phenylalanine derivative. So, the ligninide phenylalanine derivative stimulate rapid and transient release of insulin from beta cells through closure of the ATP-sensitive K+ channel. So, it is absorbed within 20 minutes after oral administration with a time to peak concentration of less than 1 hour and is metabolized in the liver by CYP2C9 and CYP3A4 with a half-life of about 1 hour. The overall duration of action is about 4 hours. So it is taken before the meal and reduce the postprandial rise in blood glucose level. It is available as 60 and 120 milligrams tablets. So lower dose is used in patients with mild elevation in HbA1c. So it is efficacious when given alone or in combination with non-secretagogues or agents such as metformin. Hypoglycemia is the main young adverse effect. It can be used in patients with renal impairment and in the elderly. So drugs that primarily lower glucose levels by their action on the liver, muscles, and adipose tissue. So biguanides. So, the structures of metformin is shown below. So, mao ni ang structure sa metformin na makita. So, biguanides inhibit hepatic and renal gluconeogenesis. So, we can see in figure 4.1-3. So, muna siya ang major action of the principal oral anti-diabetic drugs used to treat type 2 diabetes. So, muna siya. Next is mechanism of actions. So, a full explanation of the mechanism of action of the biguanides remains elusive, but their primary effect is to activate the enzyme AMP activated protein kinase or AMPK and reduce hepatic glucose production. So, the patient with type 2 diabetes have considerable less fasting hyperglycemia as well as lower postprandial hyperglycemia after administration of biguanides. However, hypoglycemia during biguanide therapy is rare. These agents are therefore more appropriately termed euglycemic agent. Next is metabolism and excretion. So metformin has a life of 1.5 to 3 hours. So it's not bound to plasma protein. So it's not metabolized and is excreted by the kidneys as the activated compound. As a consequence of metformin blockage of gluconeogenesis, the drugs may impair the hepatic metabolism of lactic acid in patients with renal insufficiency. The biguanoside accumulates and thereby increase the risk of lactic acidosis, which appears to be a dose-related complication. So, metformin can safely use in patients with estimated glomerular filtration rates or EGFR between 60 and 45 ml per 1.73 m2. It can be used cautiously in patients with EGFR between 45 and 30 ml per 73 m2. It is contraindicated if the EGFR is less than 30 ml per 1.73 m2. So, clinical uses. So, biguanide are recommended as first-line therapy for type 2 diabetes. So, because metformin is an insulin-sparing agent and does not increase blood weight or provoke hypoglycemia, it is obviously advantage over insulin or sulfonylureas in treating hyperglycemia in such person. So are also indicated for use in combination with insulin secretagogues or thiazolidinediones in type 2 diabetic in whom oral monotherapy is inadequate. So, although the recommended maximal dosage is 2.55 grams daily, so lethal benefit is seen about a total dosage of 2000 mg daily. So, yung initiated treatment kay 500 mg with meal and increase gradually in divided doses. So, yung common schedule would be 500 mg once or twice daily, increase to 1000 mg twice daily. The maximal dose is 850 mg 3 times a day. Toxicity. So, unlike the sulfonylureas, the biguanides do not cause hypoglycemia. Their most common toxicity is gastrointestinal distress like nausea and diarrhea, and they can cause lactic acidosis, especially in patients with renal or liver disease, alcoholism, or conditions that predispose to tissue anosmia and lactic acid production. So example is chronic cardiopulmonary dysfunction. Next is thiazolidinedione. Mechanism and effects. So the thiazolidinones, rosiglitazone, and pioglitazone increase target tissue sensitively to insulin by activating the peroxisome proliferator activated receptor gamma nuclear receptor or the PPARF receptor. So reduce both fasting and postprandial hyperglycemia. So they are used as monotherapy or in combination with insulin or other oral antidiabetic drugs. So like metformin, the thiazolidinediones have been shown reduce the risk of diabetes in high-risk patients. So toxicity. So when the drugs are used alone, hypoglycemia is extremely rare. Thiazolidinediones can cause fluid retention, which present as mild anemia and edema, and may increase the risk of heart failure. Female patient taking thiazolidinediones appears to have an increased risk of bone fractures. So rosiglitazone and pioglitazone have not been linked to serious liver dysfunction, but still require routine monitoring of liver function. And pioglitazone and troglitazone induce cytochrome P450 activity, especially the 3A4 isosome, and can reduce the serum concentration of drugs that are metabolized by these enzymes. So example niya is oral contraceptives and cyclosporine. Drugs that affect absorption and glucose. So alpha glucosidase inhibitor. So mechanism and effect. So acarbose and miglitol are carbohydrate analog that act with the intestine to inhibit the glucosidase, an enzyme necessary for the conversion of complex starches, oligosaccharides, and disaccharides to the monosaccharides that can be transported out of the intestinal lumen and in the bloodstream. So these drugs lacks an effect of fasting blood sugar. Both drugs can be used as monotherapy or in combination with other anti-diabetic drugs. So they are taken just before a meal. So toxicities. So the primary adverse effect of the alpha-glucosidase inhibitors include flatulence, diarrhea, and abdominal pain resulting from increased fermentation of unabsorbed carbohydrate by bacteria in the colon. So, patient taking an alpha-glucosidase inhibitor who experience hypoglycemia should be treated with oral glucose dextrose, and not sucrose because the absorption of sucrose will be delayed. Drugs that mimic incretin effect or prolong incretin action. So, an oral glucose load provokes a higher insulin response compared with an equivalent dose of glucose given intravenously. So, this is because the oral glucose causes a release of gout hormones or incretins, principally GLP-1 and glucose-dependent insulinotropic peptide or GIP that amplify the glucose-induced insulin secretion. So, glucagon-like peptide 1, GLP or 1 receptors agonist. So, Exenatide. So, glucagon, like peptide 1, GLP-1, is a membrane of incretin family of peptide hormones, so which are released from endocrine cells in the epithelium of the bowel in response to food. So, isinatamide, a long-acting injectable peptide analog of GLP-1, is used in combination with metformin or sulfonylurea for treatment of type 2 diabetes. So, yung major adverse effects kay gastrointestinal disturbance, particularly nausea during initial therapy, and hypoglycemia when exenatide is combined with sulfonylurea. So, this drug has also caused serious and sometimes fatal acute pancreatitis. So, liraglutide is a soluble fatty acid as acylated GLP-1 analog. So, yahang half-life approximately with 12 hours and permitting once daily dosing. So, it is approved in the patient with type 2 diabetes who achieve inadequate control with diet and exercise and are receiving concurrent treatment with metformin, sulfonylureas, or thiazolidine diones. So treatment is initiated at 0.6 milligram and increase after 1 week to 1.2 milligrams daily. So if needed, the dose can be increased to 1.8 milligrams daily. In clinical trials, liraglutide results in a reduction of HbA1c of 0.8 to 1.5%. Young weight loss range from none to 3.2 kg. The most frequent adverse effects are nausea. So nausea is 28% and vomiting is 10%. So liraglutide are at a dose of 3 milligram daily has been approved for weight loss. So albiglutide is a human GLP-1 dimer focused to human albumin. So yung half-line is about 5 days and a steady state is reaches after 4 to 5 weeks of once weekly administration. So, yung usual dosage is 30 milligrams weekly by subcutaneous injection. So, the drug is supplied in a self-injection pen. So, containing a powder that is constituted just prior to administration. Young weight loss is much less common than with exenatide and liraglutide. So the most frequent adverse effect niya is nausea and injection site arrhythmia. So dulaglutide. So it is consists of two GLP-1 analog molecules covalently linked to an Fc fragment of human IgG4. So the GLP-1 molecule has amino acid substitution that resists DP4 action. So yang na siya half-life nga is about to 5 days. So the usual dose is 0.75 mg weekly by subcutaneous injection. So, the maximum recommended dose is 1 milligram weekly. So, the most frequent adverse reaction were nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting. So, dipeptidyl peptidase 4, so DPP4, so inhibitors. So, sitagliptin, so is given orally as 100 milligrams once daily. Has an oral bioavailability of over 85%. So, dapat maka-achieve siya concentration within 1 to 4 hours and has a half-life of approximately 12 hours. So, it is primarily excreted in the urine in part by active tubular secretion of the drug. The most common adverse effect niya are headache, nasopharyngitis, and upper respiratory tract infections. Sa sasaglipin, lig- sasagliptin is given orally as 2.5 to 5 milligrams daily. So the dose reaches maximal concentration within 2 hours or 4 hours for its activated metabolite. So it is minimally protein bound and undergoes hepatic metabolism by CYP3 for CYP3A4 to 5. So, linaglipin, lower HbA1c by 0.4 to 0.6%. So, when added to metformin, sulfonylurea, or pioglitazone, so yung dose is 5 mg daily orally. And since it is primarily extended via the bile, no dosage adjustment is needed in renal failure. So, yung adverse reaction include nasopharyngitis and hypersensitivity reaction like urticaria, urticaria, angioedema, localized skin exploration, bronchial hyperreactivity. The risk of pancreatitis may be increased. So, alogliptin lowers HbA1c by about 0.5 to 0.6%. So, when added to metformin, sulfonylurea, or pioglitazone, the usually dose is 25 milligrams orally daily. So, the 12.5 milligrams dose is used in patients with calculated creatinine clearance of 30 to 60 ml per minute. The dose is 6.25 milligrams for clearance to less than 30 ml of per minute. So there have been reports of hypersensitivity reaction, so anaphylaxis, angioedema, Stevens-Johnson syndrome. So cases of hepatic failure have been reported, but it is unclear if alogliptin was the cause. So vildagliptin. So it is not available in the United States. So lower HbA1c levels by 0.5 to 1% when added to the therapeutic regimen of patients with type 2 diabetes. So the dosage is 50 milligrams orally once or twice daily. So yung adverse reaction ay upper respiratory infection, nasopharyngitis, dizziness, and headache. So, so rarely it can cause hepatitis, and liver function tests should be performed quarterly in the first year of use and periodically thereafter. So, sodium glucose cotransporter 2, SGLT2. So, inhibitors. So, glucose is freely filtered by the renal glomeruli and is reabsorbed in the proximal tubules by the action of sodium glucose transporters or SGLTS. So, sodium glucose transporter to SGLT2 accounts for 90% of glucose reabsorption, and its inhibition causes glycosuria and lowers glucose levels in patients with type 2 diabetes. Canagliflozin. So reduce their hold for glycosuria from plasma glucose of of approximately 180 milligrams per DL to 70 to 90 milligrams per DL. It also results in modest weight loss of 2 to 5 kilograms. So the usual dosage is 100 milligrams daily. Increasing the dosage to 300 milligrams daily in patients with normal renal function can lower the HbA1c by an additional 0.5%. So dapagliflozin reduces HbA1c by 0.5 to 0.8%. So when used alone or in combination with other oral agent or insulin, it it also results in modest weight loss of about 2 to 4 kilograms. So the usual dosage is 10 milligrams daily, but 5 milligrams daily is recommended initially in patients with hepatic failure. So, empagliflozin reduces HbA1c by 0.5 to 0.7% when used alone or in combination with other or oral agents or insulin. So, it also results in modest weight loss of 2 to 3 kilograms. So, the usual dosage is 10 milligrams daily, but 25 mg milligrams per day may be used. So weight loss. Lower blood pressure, and diuresis may have played a role since there were fewer deaths from heart failure in the treated group, whereas the rates of myocardial infarction were unaltered. So the main adverse effect niya is increased incidence of genital infection and urinary tract infection, affecting about 8 to 9% of patients. So other hypoglycemic drugs. So pramlintide is an injectable synthetic analog of amylin, a 37 amino acid hormones produced by pancreatic B cells. Amylin contributes to glycemic control by activating high affinity receptors that are a complex of the calcitonin receptors and suppress glucagon release, slow gastric emptying, and works in the CNS to reduce appetite. So after subcutaneous injection, it is rapidly absorbed and has a short duration of action. It is used combination with insulin to control postprandial glucose level. The major adverse effect associated with promethazine are hypoglycemia and gastrointestinal disturbance. So, bromocriptine, the dopamine agonist in randomized placebo-controlled studies lower HbA1c by 0 to 0.2% compared with baseline and by 0.4 to 0.5% compared with placebo. So the mechanism by which it lowers glucose levels is not known. So the main adverse events are nausea, fatigue, dizziness, vomiting, and headache. So management of the patient with diabetes. So kailangan sila og diet. So diet, a well-balanced, nutritious diet remains a fundamental element of therapy for diabetes. So it is recommended that the micronutrient proportion, such as carbohydrates, protein, and fat, be individualized based on the patient eating patterns, preference, and goals. So generally, most patients with diabetes consume about 45% of their calories, as carbohydrates is 25 to 35%. Iyang fats 10 to 35% proteins. So, limiting the carbohydrate intake and substituting some of the calories with unsaturated fats such as olive oil, rapeseed such as canola oil, or the oil in nuts and avocados can lower triglycerides and increase HDL cholesterol. A high Mediterranean Mediterranean style eating pattern, a diet supplement with walnuts, almonds, hazelnut, and olive oil has been shown to improve glycemic control and lower combination ends for cardiovascular events and stroke. So, caloric restriction and weight loss is an important goal for the obese patient with type 2 diabetes. So, sunod is kailangan nilag education. So, education of the patient and family is critical component of care. So, the patient should be informed about the kind of diabetes he or she have and the rationale for controlling the glucose level. So, dapat na siya self-monitoring of glucose level should be emphasized, especially if the patient is on insulin or oral secretagogues that can cause hypoglycemia. So the patient on insulin therapy should understand the key action profile of the insulin. So he or she should know how to determine if the basal insulin does dose is correct and how to adjust the rapidly acting insulin dose for carbohydrates content of meals. So insulin adjustment for exercise and infection should be discussed. So, the patient and family members also should be informed about the signs and symptoms of hypoglycemia. So, glycemic target. So, the American Diabetes Association criteria for acceptable control induce an HbA1c of less than 7% or 73 ay 53 ml per mole and pre-milk glucose level of 90 to 130 milligram DL, so equivalent to 5 to 7.2 ml per L, and less than 180 milligram per DL, so which is 10 ml per liter, or R and 150 milligram per DL, so equivalent to 8.3 ml per L. So 2 hours after meal. So less stringent blood glucose control also appropriate for children. So as well as patients with a history of severe hypoglycemia, limited life expectancy, and significant microvascular disease for the elderly frail patient of HbA1c. So the greater than 8% may be appropriate. So treatment. So treatment must be individualized of the basis of the type of the diabetes and the specific needs of each patient. So type 1 diabetes. So therapy for type 1 diabetes involve dietary instruction. So parenterally insulin. So, mixtures of shorter and longer acting form to maintain control of basal and postprandial glucose levels. And possibly promethazine for improved control of postprandial glucose level, plus careful attention by the patient to factors that change insulin requirements like exercise, infections, other form of stress, and derivation from the regular diet. So large clinical studies indicate that tight control of blood sugar by frequently blood sugar testing and insulin injections reduce the incidence of vascular complication, including renal and internal retinal damage the risk of glycemic reaction is increased in tight control regiment, but not enough to avoid the benefits of better control. So this this is the table 41-8, the example of intensive insulin reman using rapid acting insulin analog and it NPH or insulin determer glargine or diglodic in a 70 kilogram man with type 1 diabetes. So, muna yahang sa patient with type 1 diabetes. So, next is type 2 diabetes. So, type 2 diabetes is usually a progressive disease therapy for an individual patient generally escalates over time. It begins with weight reduction and dietary control. So initial drug therapy usually is the oral monotherapy with metformin. So ang type 2 diabetes involve both insulin resistance and inadequate insulin production. So it makes sense to combine an agent that augments insulin action. So like metformin, a thiazolidine or an alpha glucosidase inhibitor, with one that augments that insulin supplies insulin secretagogue or insulin. So figure 41-6. So these are the steps taken if needed to reach individualized HbA1c target after 3 months. So in 3 months dapat naka-weight loss plus exercise plus metformin plus another agent, and metformin plus 2 other agents, and metformin plus more complex insulin, regen and plus and other non-insulin agents. So, dapat makaya na siya within 3 months. So, acute complication of diabetes. So, hypoglycemia. So, hypoglycemic reaction are the most common complication of insulin therapy. So, it can also occur in any patient taking oral agents that stimulate insulin secretion. So, example, sulfonylureas, miglitenide, dipenlalamin analogs. So, particularly in the patient in elderly has a renal or liver disease, or it taking certain other medications that alter metabolism of the sulfonylureas. Example niya kay phenylbutazone, sulfonamides, warfarin. It occurs frequently when the use of long-acting sulfonylureas. So this dangerous acquired condition is determined hypoglycemic awareness. So the patient lack the early warning signs of low blood glucose. They may not take corrective measures in time. So in patients with persistent untreated hypoglycemia, the manifestation of insulin excess may develop confusion, weaknesses, Vizar's behavior, coma, seizure, at which point they may not be able to procure or safely swallow glucose containing foods. So, hypoglycemia awareness may be restored by preventing frequently hypoglycemic episodes. An identification bracelet, a necklace or cord in the wallet or purse, as well as some form of rapidly absorbed glucose should be carried by every diabetic person who is receiving hypoglycemic drug therapy. So, diabetic coma. So, diabetic ketoacidosis. So, or DKA is a life-threatening medication emergency caused by inadequate inadequate or absent insulin replacement, which occur in people with type 1 diabetes and frequently in those with type 2 diabetes. So it typically occurs in newly diagnosed type 1 patient or in those who have experienced interrupted insulin replacement. And people with type 2 diabetes who have current unusually stressful condition such as sepsis or pancreatitis or are on high dose steroid therapy. So signs and symptoms include nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, deep slow Kussmaul breathing, change in mental status, including coma, elevated blood and urinary ketones and glucose, and arterial blood pH lower than 7.3 and low bicarbonate to 15 mmol per L. So hyperosmolar hyperglycemic syndrome. So is or HHS. So diagnosed in person with type 2 diabetes and is characterized by profound hyperglycemia and dehydration. So ang treatment of HSS center around aggressive rehydration and restoration of glucose and electrolyte homeostasis. The rate of correction of these variables must be monitored closely. Low dose insulin therapy may be required. Chronic complications of diabetes. So, late clinical manifestation of diabetes mellitus include a number of pathologic changes that involve small and large vessel. So cranial and peripheral nerves that skin and the lens of the eye. This lesion lead to hypertension and stage chronic kidney disease, blindness, autonomic and peripheral neuropathy, amputation of the lower extremities, myocardial infarction, and cerebrovascular accident. So in type 1 diabetes, end-stage chronic kidney disease develop in up to 40% of patients compared with less than 20% of patients with type 2 diabetes. So in patients with type 1 diabetes, complications from end-stage chronic kidney disease are a major cause of death. So whereas patients with type 2 diabetes are more likely to have microvascular disease leading to myocardial infarction and stroke as the main cause of death. So cigarette use adds significantly to the risk of both microvascular and macrovascular complication in diabetic patients. So these are the summary drug used for diabetes. So na insulin, so this mo na ni ang mga summarize sa tambal. So like insulin, sulfonylureas, neglectinide, biguanides, alpha glucosidase inhibitor, thiazolidinide, and mo ni ang sumpay. Glucagon like polypeptide, the GLP-1, the DPP-4, and bile acid sequestrant and dopamine agonist. So that's all. Thank you.